Yeah, buddy. All right, you ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
All right.
He's breaking down the plays, calling out the stars. From the court to the field, catching fire like a spark. Hot takes, big wins, stories you should know. Turn it up, tune in. It's the Brice Epps Show.
Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Brice Epps Show. Today I'm joined by Walter State head coach Jerry Nichols. Coach, thank you for coming on.
No doubt. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. First things first, just coming back after you played here and everything, what does it mean to you to be the head coach and lead this program forward?
Everything, obviously I've had a career. This is my 21st season as a coach. And, my most rewarding thing is to come back to be the coach at Walter State. Played here, was a two-time All-American, had a lot of fun, enjoyed myself. And, when the job came open, obviously, to replace a legend like Coach Carlisle, somebody like he's like a dad to me. So to be the coach here at Walter State, it means everything.
And like you mentioned, first and second team All-American here, also a region tournament MVP and more. What was it like playing here and just knowing the culture and everything like that?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was 3 of the best years of my life, and again, that contributed to why I'm back. So it was just amazing fun, amazing time. Met a lot of great people. To be a part of the East Tennessee community, to come back to be the coach, especially, it means a lot.
Yeah, and like you mentioned also too, having to replace and fill the shoes of a coach like Coach Carlisle, how has that been? Has it been challenging? And also, is it rest in your mind knowing how good of a coach he was and what he did here that you got to follow up that?
Well, I wouldn't say challenging. But what I will say, it's kind of one of those deals that is kind of self-fulfilling in regards to being able to be the coach here. When I have old teammates to come up to the school and watch us play, that's kind of like a rewarding thing. It's an honor to be the successor after somebody like Coach Carlisle. Like I said, he's a dad to me. So, I see him more than just as this basketball coach.
Yeah.
I see him as a legend, a father figure, a guy that came in my life at the right time.
Aside from him, what other coaches and just people in general do you think you kind of looked up to as a coach and maybe you styled your coaching style after?
I'll be honest, I've learned from various people, obviously. It's not one in particular. Obviously, Coach Carlisle is probably the most influential person in my life, but I've just learned from everybody. I think, as a student of the game, you get a chance to, watch a lot of things from different coaches. I've taken things from, Rick Barnes, Calipari. I've taken things from all over. And, I've also implemented my own style and my own unique things that I like to do, whether it's offensively or defensively and things like that.
Yeah, and in your 21st year of coaching, you've done a whole lot. Before you got started coaching, when your playing career wrapped up, did you know immediately after that you wanted to be a coach?
No, I wanted to hoop. I still want to hoop now. I'm a hooper at heart at the end of the day. But the reality is injuries kind of plagued my career, and that was okay. But the biggest thing I learned, obviously education is important, and I kind of instill that into our student athletes here at Walter State as well. I kind of give them my story. They may not like the 3-hour study halls from time to time, but the reality is, I know it's cliche, but the ball will stop bouncing.
Yeah. And as your coaching career has gone on, you've been in the game for a long time. How have your goals as a coach changed from your first year and throughout the years into now?
My goals has always stayed the same. Obviously, is to be rich in people. That's been my motto since I've been a coach. Treat people the right way, take care of them. You're recruiting guys that are 17 to 20-year-olds, and they're trying to figure out this game called life. And at the end of the day, you want to be impactful for them. You want them to understand that, basketball, although, you're playing for championships, you want to win at a high level, but it's kind of like life.
Yeah.
You're going to go through these ups and downs. Some days you're going to shoot it well, some days you're not. But, who are you when adversity hits? That's one of the biggest sayings that we have in our program. Like, things are going to go bad, just like in your regular life. There's going to be some things and challenges, maybe some health issues, maybe this. But how are you handling those things? And, for our student athletes, for our guys, we hope that they leave here and they understand, they take those teachings on to their regular life.
You talked about recruiting. The JUCO program, one of the best in the country right now, has been very consistent and very good over the last few years. How is recruiting harder because it's the JUCO level, and how do you kind of approach that?
I think recruiting is recruiting.
Yeah.
I don't say it's harder or easy because there's no tactic. I think every coach have their own, if they're really good, they have their own style of what they're looking for in a student athlete. Talent is not always the answer, right? Obviously, you got to have talent to play at this level. You got to have talent to play at a high level, but talent is not always the answer. There's other factors that is probably more important than talent, and that's being a good person. Are you going to be on time? Are you going to take care of your business? Are you going to do what you're supposed to do when no one is watching? That's probably the biggest thing, because you can have all these talent, you have all these skills, but like if you can't do the small things, if you can't, manage your time, if you can't get into the gym early, if you can't, do the little things that it takes to win, to be a part of an elite program. What makes a program is a group of guys coming together for the common goal to win a championship, right? And the reality is you want to recruit guys that fit the mold of what you're looking for as a coach. Obviously, we play fast, we're athletic, we play at a level that not a lot of people play at. You'll hear me in the stands say 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people want to play in 3 second, 3 seconds kind of intervals.
Yeah.
So the main thing in regards to recruiting is just getting the kids that fit what you're looking for, not just from a basketball standpoint, from a life standpoint as well.
Yeah, and when you're looking for those, a lot of times it comes with the good talent. A lot of that off the court stuff can translate to on the court. You get guys like Akeem Butler, who was a Mr. Basketball player, and I mean he's been outstanding this year. He's got a crazy amount of talent. What is it like to be able to get guys like that who meet the criteria off the court and on the court?
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. At the end of the day, I think that attributes to why we're 27-1 right now. The relationships, also is all about relationships as well. Like you look at someone like King, Taquez Butler, me and his dad play high school ball together. I've been knowing, King since he was been born.
Yeah.
So like that relationship, to have him at Walters and, someone is a stature, Mr. Basketball, had Arizona State and all these offers. And, obviously I think, I don't know what's going to end up happening, but I would assume that, he's going to get a scholarship from Walter State to a 4-year program of his choice and move on. But that relationship piece is very, very important. And, I think it's probably more important in recruiting than anything.
Yeah, and then going away from the recruiting coming into here, what is the recruiting like going out of here and trying to, further that playing career somewhere else? How does that change from high school and now from the JUCOs?
So it's hard. Obviously I've been at every level. I've been at the NAIA level. I've been at the Division II level. I've been at the Division I level. I came from Division I, Tennessee State University. So it is different in regards to getting our players to other institutions. We just feel like, hey, focus on the winning part.
Yeah.
The brand is the brand. If you focus on the Walter State brand, obviously we tell our guys it's cliche too, but play for the words on the front and then the back will flourish.
Yeah.
So, mean, these guys, they understand what they're coming to. They understand the sacrifice that it also takes, because it does take sacrifice. Most programs, you think you got to average 30, you got to have 40, you have to average 20 to get to the next level. We've been very, very successful. We've had 10 guys go Division I in 2 years, which is a 5-year average. But more importantly, we've had every single sophomore get a scholarship from our program. And, we hope to continue that. We hope that these guys, obviously find the schools that they're looking for.
Yeah. Going into the future of the program, what is something that you want to, as a coach and as a team and as a program, want to have accomplished by the next 10 years or so?
Man, obviously, the overall goal every year is to win a national championship.
Yeah.
But the reality is, like, that is a hard feat. It is what it is. But we're going to strive to continue to get there at the end of the day. The main goal that I would say for our program is to continue to graduate our students. Right now we've graduated 100% of our student athletes in the men's basketball program, but we want to just continue to be nationally recognized for what we're doing as a program. We want to make sure, like I said, graduation to me is the most important thing, because you just never know where basketball is going to take you. But the other thing is to be able to play student athletes all over. Like, that's the main thing. We've had we had kids go to South Florida. We've had kids, they went everywhere, Bowling Green, Middle Tennessee. So we want to continue to Southern Arkansas. So, we want to continue to play student athletes where they want to go, which is, obviously the NCAA levels. And then we want to kind of continue to cultivate and monitor all of our student athletes when they do leave here, because that relationship piece when they leave is important as well.
Yeah. Now we'll get into kind of how this season's gone. Like we talked about before, we started as 27-1 regular season, headed into conference tournaments and national tournaments and things of that sort. It's been an amazing season. There's really rarely been a close game. You've just outplayed everybody you've played against. But, the one loss just shows like how hard it is to have a perfect season. So what all goes into that, and just talk about how hard it is to get that perfect regular season.
Well, it's an everyday grind. A lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of variables that happens throughout the course of a season. Like, obviously, you don't attest to guys getting injured. You don't talk about, obviously, sickness, things like that. Guys are going through a lot. When you're talking about being undefeated in the season, it doesn't happen a lot, especially in men's basketball as well, because it's just so challenging. Kids going through a lot with school. You got life stuff. You got family stuff. It is really, really hard. Yeah. But, our guys have done a good job this season. Obviously, one blemish to Motlow State by 2 points on the road. I was proud of them. Like last week when we played Motlow to win the way we did, it was kind of like a blowout win. We had a great crowd here. We really appreciate you guys coming out and support us for that game. But the guys are doing extremely well. They're striving for greatness. We have an opportunity this weekend to go to the Region 7 tournament and do something special and win it all. So that's the goal.
Yeah. Talk about how hard it is. I mean, you look at the rest of college basketball right now. Miami, Ohio, undefeated, the only team, and they're still talking to them, maybe not even getting in the tournament if they drop one game in their conference tournament. But for them to be the only undefeated team, it kind of talks to how hard that is. I mean, you've got some of the best teams in the country, like a Duke or Arizona. They drop games here and there because just one bad game by all around could mess that up. So it is definitely hard. It's a hard thing to do, but to get that game back against Motlow at home, that kind of puts a little bit of ease, I feel like, in the mind of we're a better team than them. So we just had one slip up on the road.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people say bad games. I say bad possessions.
Yeah.
I say bad 3 minutes, bad 2 minutes. Every possession matters. But it is hard, man. Like, you look at Miami, Ohio, they've had some close games. You look at them recently, the last 3 games, I think I followed them They've had some 1-point wins. They played, I think it was Western Michigan the other day. They was in a dogfight. So like every game is hard. When you talk about, I mean, guys make shots. It is what it is. Like there's good players all over the world. And to go undefeated is just, I mean, I'll be honest, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
It's just not. It is because it's so hard. It's probably one of the hardest things to do. And I don't know when the last team in America went undefeated to win a national championship, but I'm assuming it was probably it's probably 40 years from the point of now. So it's just a hard feat.
Yeah, Miami, Ohio, they played with Western Michigan. They were, I think they trailed by double digits, and it's a come from behind win, and they went on a buzzer beater. So
no doubt,
just things like that. Me and Rob talked about last week on the podcast. The depth of this year's team is amazing, and I mean, you look at guys like Tyrese and Malachi. Malachi was a starter last year, and this year you've got him coming off the bench, which is huge, I think, to have that guy with experience that can provide a spark to the team off the bench.
Well, a lot of people, they put a premium on who starred and all that. But, here at Walter State, I just tell them, like, be good players. We have a system. And that's why that goes back to the recruiting piece and relationships and trusting your coach and understanding, like, the system this year may not be the same system from last year in regards to starting and things like that. But it's based on, obviously seeing in practice film, practice tape, who plays together well, what kind of shooters that I want on this group compared to this group. So there's a lot of factors that plays into that. And the biggest thing is about our team is our strength in numbers. We feel like we don't really have starters. We have 10 starters.
Yeah.
We feel like anybody can start. We feel like, if we have one down, this season, Trey Rideau didn't play against Dyersburg. Mally started, he had 22.
Yeah.
We're on the road playing against Pellissippi. I mean, everybody I thought played bad except for Mally. He had 22. So, like, I don't really believe, I don't put a lot of emphasis on who starred, who doesn't. I put a lot of emphasis on production when you get out there, playing the right way. Are we making the right plays to win a game? Obviously, right now we're number one in the country in assists. We average 26 assists a game, which is amazing. We're averaging about 11 threes a game total, 4 games. So it's like, just make the right play the right way. I believe in the basketball gods, and I'm one of the guys that, like, if you play the right way, the basketball gods will reward you, whether that with a score, whether that's with, obviously getting offers and things like that.
Yeah. You talk about the assists and the threes. It feels like a team, you said make a lot of threes, 11 a game, but it doesn't feel like it's a live by the three or die by the three team. It's not like the first option for those threes. You like to play fast, you like to get those fast break points. But with that comes, defensive breakdowns on the other side, which lead to those open threes. Is that something that just kind of flows in with the offense, or that's integrated
Well,
into
I
it?
think it kind of flows into what we do every day in practice. Obviously, we want to play fast. If you was to watch us practice, you'll be like, this is unbelievable, because we do run a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, we don't rely on a three. Our goal is just to take the best shot. Obviously people hear me say 3 seconds. Yeah, we'll throw it up the sideline, but we've thrown it up the sideline and got layups as well. Our job as coaches and, our 3-second rule is try to manipulate the defense. We want defensively to screen people. We want to draw them out. Obviously, we want to play with space. And when we play with space, obviously you play with space, you open up driving lanes, and you open up. It's times where you do get to the rim and everybody collapses, and the next read may be a layup. However, the next read may be pop your playoff two, pop your feet, throw it to the corner for a tray ball. So we just play hard, but the biggest thing for us is make the right read, play the right way, and again, the basketball guys just reward you.
What does a typical practice look like for that style of play to maintain it and keep it up?
Our practice is probably harder than games. We play so hard. I'll tell you, like even in transition in practice, it's 5-0, but we're like scoring 2.8.
Yeah.
Scoring 2.8. When we run, we run something called 60s and 48s and 36, but our last thing is we run with 4 seconds. You got 4 seconds to get baseline to baseline, which is it's hard, it's tough. But all the things that we do, it prepares you to play in games. What is not a lot of times talked about, a lot of people talk about our offensive prowess, but defensively, we are one of the top in the country as well. We're only giving up about 65 points a game. But for us, a lot of people say, 65 is a decent amount. But the number of possessions is key.
Yeah.
Because more teams get more possession against us because we are pressing and we are play a different style. But the biggest thing that I look at is field goal percentages from the opposing team. If we hold teams under the 33% mark, we'll be fine.
Yeah. I had Demore on earlier, and that's one thing he talked about was the defense that you all play. It's so intense, and the guards' defense pressing up, it makes teams uncomfortable, and in return, that turns into the fast offense and the fast break points. How much of an emphasis do you put on defense and being like that intensity?
A lot, man. I will be honest. We actually work on what we do defensively more than we do offensive stuff. Defense wins championship. I always tell these guys at the end of the day, defense travel. And we want to, again, manipulate offenses so they're not playing the same way they play against everybody else. We want you to do things that you haven't done before. A lot of people, they when they play us, they know, like, oh, they're going to press. They're going to play fast. Our goal is always to score in between 18 to 24. Just, creating turnovers and, making plays like that. So scoring like that, when you do create turnovers and turnovers lead to points, obviously your scoring total goes up as well.
Yeah, and the turnovers not only turn into points, but they also create those highlight plays that every team is like fiending for. So how do those create the momentum for you all and just kind of let you cruise into another victory?
Well, I think it's very, very important in regards to those plays that are not accounted for. Obviously we've had some crazy plays this year. You think about one where Demore does a windmill, and it gives us a lot of energy. But the biggest thing is it creates opportunities to go on runs, and that's the one thing about our team. Like, we're never out of games because you can go on if you're up 7-0, we can go on a 15-0 run.
Yeah.
We've had games this year where we went on 25 to 3 runs, 25 to 2 runs, and obviously they leads to timeouts and it leads to confusion from the other team. So we've had teams to try to do everything against us. We've had teams on free throw line breaks. They've made subs and things like that, so we've had to adjust to that. But those turnovers that are being created are very, very important to our team's success because, if we're turning you over, we're going on massive runs as well.
Yeah. You talk about, like other teams trying to slow down you all and make you shift, but it's really hard. A lot of the games that I've came and watched, teams have tried so many different things to knock you guys off your feet kind of, but none of them have really worked. Like, there's been a few teams press, and it's like, if you press, we're just going to go right down the court because we're so much faster than you. And you've got teams that play a zone, and, you've got stuff for that too. So how is it as a coach to know what to adjust to when somebody throws something different at you?
Well, I'll be honest, the film tells a story, right? So, like, we do a lot of film work. I'm talking about a whole lot of film work. Our guys understand who we playing, what we do while we're playing those teams, how we adjust, whether it's, ice a ball screen, whether it's, we're going to press a certain way this time. Maybe we come after you, maybe we don't. Our press is kind of a hard deal to prepare for because you don't know where the trap is coming from.
Yeah.
So there's different things that we do from a schematic standpoint to get ready for all games. And like I said, the film don't lie, it tells a story, and we'll adjust to whatever that film is.
With all of that, the style of play, everything like that, how would you define, just the overall culture of the program here?
The culture is, I mean, I'll tell you this, every game, I always end with two things. And it always say share it and then culture. And with that culture, it has love behind it. So we have a culture of love. Obviously, we want our guys to understand that adversity is going to come, whether it's, it may be a 5-0 run by somebody, it may be a 10-0 run, but that's some type of adversity. How we handle that is probably more important than anything. But on the flip side of that, how you handle that in regards to your team culture is, do you get tougher? Do you get to a point where you are being positive? You're giving positive reinforcement with your teammates, strong positive reinforcement when you're handling that adversity. And then the flip side of that, when things are going well, how are you acting?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you more locked in when things are going well compared to, overzealous, maybe taking bad shots? Are you still playing the right way? So I would define that as our culture, just a culture of love, a culture of respect, a culture of handling adversity.
When a player comes in from high school or transfer, wherever it may be, if they're not familiar with the culture, which I'm sure the recruitment phase and everything, they probably get pretty familiar with it. But if they're not, fully aware of how easy is it for them to get completely bought in with the rest of the guys around them?
Well, I'll be honest, having players back is key.
Yeah.
Like this past season, we had Demori and Mally and JC on back. Obviously, we experienced one of the worst seasons I've had as a coach last season. A lot of people like, Coach, I don't know if that's bad. We was 20-9. But it was one of the worst seasons I've had as a coach. But having those guys back and having them go through what they went through last year with that experience is key, because we have guys like Taquez Butler that can lean on those guys. And then we recruited some high character guys, somebody like B. Carter, who's, he's been through some stuff, played at Free Harmon, which is the number one team in the NAIA country. They're number one right now. He's been through that culture that they have there. He's brought some of those things here, and just recruiting the right guys, I think. So in the recruitment process, we let them know about, obviously the Walter State brand, the Walter State culture. And it's not just, I always explain to our guys, it's not just our program.
Yeah.
It's just not women. It's just not men's basketball. When you look at our women's basketball team, number 4 in the country, one of the top programs in the country. You look at our baseball team. They went to the national championship game last season, and they're number 4 in the country as well this season. But our softball, our volleyball team has went to the Sweet 16 the last 2 years. So all of our program produce champions. That contributes to. That's a factor with our administration. Derek Creech, our leader, Miss Avery, everybody that's a part of the Walter State team to make us what we are. So we're very, very appreciative of them. I know in our program, and it definitely helps with our culture.
Yeah, you talk about Ryan Carter. He's really stepped up as of late, the second half of the season. He's been playing really well. But also, you talk about the returners. To get Jamar Livingston back this year after having him for 1 year, and he goes out to Western Carolina, and then to get him back this year, how big is that, to have him along with the other returners?
It was huge because, he knows what it looks like. He knows what it feels like. Jamar, he played on a 29-3 team 2 years ago. He was an impact player on that team as well. Had an opportunity to go Division I, played a little bit, got hurt, comes back here, decides to come back, and to get him back, it's like, it's a joy.
Yeah.
He's a great kid. He just texted me actually not too long ago about a 95 grade that he made. So to have him back is a special deal, man. It's special. He's a special kid. He works extremely hard, and he has a chance to do it again.
Yeah.
So I think his experience is going to help us definitely in the tournament.
Yeah. As the regular season wraps up and you get into tournament play, where really any game could be your last, a season could come to an abrupt stop after having so good. How important is it to keep your guys, locked in and prepared, and just to have that in the back of their mind. Like,
Keeping them composed, but also keeping them positive, keeping them understanding, like, there are going to be some trials, there are going to be some adversity. How do we handle that? I know I'm talking about adversity a lot, but that's the reality. The reality is adversity is going to come. When you look at our championship run 2 years ago, in the championship game, we was down 20 points against Chat.
yeah,
We came back and won the game. And those lessons, those experience, me being able to tell this group what happened that year. Obviously, Jamar was a part of that.
Yeah.
Him being able to tell our group that, I think that's going to help us to make a deep tournament run as well.
yeah. And having been so good in the conference and only one loss, top 15 team in the country. We talked with Rob too last week. There's only a few at-large bids into the national tournament and further on. So, how important is it to make sure that you take care of business right now?
Man, it's simple. It's win or go home.
Yeah.
I don't even worry about the at-large deal. I'm just kind of in a go mode in regards to we have to win the tournament. If you win the tournament, then you don't have to rely on all that other stuff. Take care of your business. If you win a tournament, it helps you with seeding. So our goal and our number one goal is not to even think about that at large. The goal is to win the Region 7 tournament and get an automatic bid to Hutch.
Yeah, it's kind of like a control your own destiny type of deal where, don't leave it up to anybody else. With having that, national tournament 2 years ago, and where do you come from as a standpoint, where what that's like now and kind of trying to translate it on to, the guys who haven't been there yet?
So, obviously I have a lot of experience getting there. I got there 2 times as a player. This is my 3rd team taken to the Nationals. Obviously took Southwest and Motlow to the Nationals as well. Every time I've been out there, I've been able to win games. Last year, we won our first round game to go to, Sweet 16, and then you lose to Barton County, Kansas, who ends up winning it all. I think those experiences help because I kind of know what it feels like, know what it looks like. I just think that, we just have to get out there and our guys have to adjust. Obviously, you're playing in an arena, which is a big adjustment from depth perception and things like that. But, I think we have a team that can play different styles. If you want to slow it down on us, we can play slow down. We've done that against Columbia State. The biggest thing is getting out there. Once you get out there and get a feel for it, you get on that floor, you see the atmosphere. It's kind of a deal where you can't explain. Your guys just got to go out there and play and make the plays that they've been making all year. And, the biggest thing out there as well, you got to handle a little bit of adversity because you're going to probably have more adversity out there.
Yeah.
So, we're going to, if we get out there, we're blessed enough to get out there, we're going to give it our best. And, our goal, like I said from the start, is go out there and try to win a national championship.
Yeah, I think that one thing you mentioned that doesn't get talked about a whole lot in the transition of going to those big tournaments is like the arenas that you play in. I know we in high school at East went to the state tournament, and before we're going from playing in just a normal gym to at Middle Tennessee, which is an arena. So we, took some trips to LMU and Tennessee Tech to stop and practice in those arenas just to kind of get a feel for it. How is that different, and how much of a difference does that make on the perception and kind of the mindset going into that?
It makes a huge difference. The good thing about our situation, we have a lot of players that have some experience in doing it.
Yeah.
You look at Malachi Brooks, made the state championship, had 50 in the state at Murfreesboro. You look at Taquez Butler King, he made it to the state last year, played in that environment. Jamar Livingston played in the Nationals. Brian Carter, played in the tournament in Murfreesboro. Tyree Stovall did well, Caden Baldwin. So we have a lot of guys that have been in that situation, that have played in it, and I hope and pray that, their experience help us going forward if we get a chance to play in the Nationals.
Yeah, I think too that the style of play where we talked about earlier, where you don't have to rely on the three, so that way if that perception is kind of messing with them and they're not knocking shots down, it's not like end of the world for you guys because you have that ability to get inside and get to the mid range so well.
Yep, I agree. We definitely have, a lot of guys that can do a lot of multitude of things. B. Carter and Demore and J. Ness, and you look at somebody like Tyrese. Their ability to get to the rim is important, and we hope to make shots. We hope to continue to make shots the way we've done all season. But at the same time, if we're not, we can make adjustments and do what we need to do to manufacture points as well.
Yeah, and one last thing before we wrap everything up. As good as of a season that it's been so far, with still hopefully a lot more to play, what are your expectations going into the future of this program?
The expectation is the same. Obviously, you want to win a national championship, but the reality is, man, we want to just make sure that our student athletes are being great ambassadors in the community. We want to also make sure, obviously, they're graduating. That's the main thing. Like I said, it's cliche in regards to the ball stop bouncing, but we want to make sure our student athletes doing what they're supposed to do. And up to this point, they've done a great job of representing the community, doing what they need to do in the classroom, and just being great student ambassadors of the college. So we want to continue that. We want to obviously win a national championship. That is the overall goal. But the reality is we want to continue to send student athletes to four-year programs. We want them to leave Walter State with a great experience. And, we want to make sure they understand that they're loved. They want to come back to this program, and they want to invest in us as well. They want to invest in the future student athletes at Walter State.
Well, I think that's all I've got for you. If you got anything else to say to anybody or just in general, you can go ahead.
Real quick, continue to support us. Continue to continue to just follow us. Follow us on our Twitter pages, follow us on our social media page, and, we hope to, bring a championship here to Walter State.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Brice Epps Show. Thank you again, Coach, for coming on.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.